The wind moved slowly across the plains of Babylon. Along the banks of the river Chebar, a group of captives sat in silence. They were far from Jerusalem, far from the temple, far from home. Among them sat a young priest named Ezekiel. He had seen the glory of Jerusalem. He had heard the songs of the temple, but now he lived in exile among a defeated people. Then one day, heaven opened. The hand of the Lord came upon Ezekiel, and God called him to become something Israel had never seen before. Not only a prophet, but a living sign. The model of a city God spoke to Ezekiel. "Take a clay tablet, draw the city of Jerusalem upon it." Ezekiel knelt in the dust and shaped the clay. He carved the walls, he marked the gates, he formed the city streets. Then God told him to build an entire siege around the model city. He placed ramps, he raised walls, he set battering rams against it. Then the Lord said, "This is Jerusalem." The people gathered around him. They stared at the small clay city surrounded by armies. They did not understand. But Ezekiel knew the city they loved would soon be surrounded by enemies. The long burden. Then God commanded something even stranger. "Lie down beside the city." Ezekiel lay on his left side, and God said, "You shall bear the sin of the house of Israel." One day passed, then another, then another. Days became weeks, weeks became months. For 390 days, Ezekiel lay on his side. The people walked past him every day. Some mocked him, some laughed, others whispered, "Has the prophet lost his mind?" But Ezekiel did not move, because every day represented a year of Israel's rebellion against God. And when the 390 days ended, God said, "Turn onto your right side." And Ezekiel lay there again for 40 more days, each day a year of Judah's sin. The prophet had become a living reminder of the weight of a nation's rebellion, the bread of hardship. During those days, God commanded Ezekiel to prepare food in a strange way. He gathered wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. He ground them together and baked bread. But the portions were small, very small, just enough to survive. God said, "This is how the people of Jerusalem will eat during the siege, with fear and with scarcity." The prophet ate measured food and drank measured water. Every meal became a prophecy. Every bite became a warning. But the people still did not listen. The sword and the hair. Then God gave Ezekiel another command. "Take a sharp sword." Ezekiel lifted the blade. "Shave your head and beard." For a priest, this was a sign of deep shame. Yet Ezekiel obeyed. He shaved his hair and gathered it in his hands. Then God said, "Divide it into 3 parts. One part he burned in fire. Another part he struck with the sword. The final part he scattered into the wind." And the Lord said, "This is what will happen to Jerusalem. Some would die in the city, some would fall by the sword, and others would be scattered among the nations." The wind carried the strands of hair across the desert, and with them, the warning of God. The night of departure. One evening, God told Ezekiel to perform another sign. "Pack your belongings as though you are going into exile." Ezekiel gathered his bag. Then, before the eyes of the people, he did something shocking. He dug a hole through the wall of his house. As darkness fell, he crawled through the opening and walked away carrying his belongings. The people watched in confusion. Then the Lord spoke through Ezekiel. "This is what the prince in Jerusalem will do. He will try to escape in the night, but captivity will still find him." The message was clear. No one would escape what was coming. The weight of the prophet Ezekiel did not simply speak God's words. He became the message. His body carried prophecy. His actions revealed judgment. His life was a living sermon to a stubborn nation. The people thought his actions were strange. But the day would come when everything he showed them would happen exactly as God said. Jerusalem would fall, the temple would burn, and the people would be scattered. The hope beyond judgment. Yet Ezekiel's message was not only about destruction, for even in exile, God had not abandoned his people. Through visions and prophecies, Ezekiel would later speak of restoration, of a new heart, of a new spirit, of a future where God would gather his people again. The prophet who carried the burden of judgment would also proclaim the promise of renewal, the final truth. The life of Ezekiel teaches a powerful truth. Sometimes God does not only send a message, sometimes he sends a messenger whose life becomes the message itself. And through one man's obedience, an entire nation was warned, even when they refused to listen. Subscribe for more videos.